Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. Thank you so much for sparing your own time out to check out this video. Now, recently I have just gotten back from my honeymoon with my awesome wife Emma as we travelled 2 weeks around Japan. Before we go to Japan, my wife Emma said to me, Mike, I would love to stay in a capsule hotel. Now, if my wife asks for anything, heck, I'm gonna do it. So yes, we planned a trip at a Capsule Hotel for April 26th at 9 hours Hamamatsuko, if I've said that correctly, where it cost us maybe around £20 each for the one night, so around £40 in total. And this is my experience, the ups, the downs, and what to take away from this if you're considering to do it yourself. Before we get into this, all I ask of you guys is to please give this video a big thumbs up. It helps the channel, it helps the algorithm, it helps to tell YouTube, hey, I like this guy's content, and heck, it could even help you and others before you go into a capsule hotel. Now, enough of me rambling about the introduction, let's get into this. So we checked into our capsule hotel at around 3 p.m. Now, once we got into the capsule hotel, expectations for me is I've stayed in hostels before, whereas my wife hasn't. At 9 hours, you get given a card. This card has a little QR code and it will tell you what locker number you are. So when you get to the locker, you scan the QR code on a little barcode reader, the locker will open, you put your suitcase, your bag, whatever the case should be, you store it all in there. Now, what I found is we didn't have suitcases at this point. We actually shipped them off to Kyoto. That's a different story. But we did have a backpack, and the backpack fit in absolutely fine. Had no issues there whatsoever. I also did have a few extra additional like carrier bags with me as well, and they also fit in okay. This capsule hotel consisted of 10 floors. The floor that I primarily went on is floor 2, which is the lockers. It also includes like the showers, the toilets, the wash basin, that kind of stuff, right? A shared shower communal area. And that was floor 2. Now, floor 10 is the rooftop kind of open area space where men and women can interact. Otherwise, apart from the ground floor where you actually enter, men and women are not allowed to socialize in this building. Now, the amenities you get included here are you get a set of pajamas, you also get a pair of footwear to wear also, which you do have to wear if you're going to go into the bunk. You're supposed to keep your shoes in the locker, and you also get in the shower itself is shampoo, conditioner and body wash as well, and you get the towels included too. So the good thing about that is you don't have to have your own stuff, you don't have to worry about toiletries, for example. It's all provided in the capsule itself. Now again, this is only £20 per night, so for that alone right there, pajamas, footwear, the towels, bathroom amenities, it is not too bad to start with, right? So I'm going to give them props where it's due. Now if we then go up to the actual quarters where you're going to be staying, the pod where I was staying was as you get right off the lift, turn the left, and mine was the first bunk. So this pod itself was big enough for me to lie in. It was bigger than me actually, and I'm only like 5'5", so it wasn't too bad. The pod itself had plenty of USB ports, areas where you can put plugs in, you can have multiple things on charge, and also to the side had two like little brackets where you could put like little items for storage as such. Not huge, but it still had a few little details. So inside this pod itself wasn't actually too bad. It has a little curtain pull drawer which you can use, and you might see videos on screen as I'm talking of my experience and my wife's as we filmed a few little videos. And this was good to keep the sun out. It was also to keep like any light out as well, but you could still hear people's footsteps as they walk by, and if there was any noise you could still hear that as well. Luckily I didn't hear anyone snoring, not to say that anyone wasn't, but I didn't hear that. I could certainly hear from some footsteps in the morning of people walking by and kind of trudging their feet, that kind of thing, right? So of course the noise level is a little bit tough. Maybe recommend to put some headphones in at night or some earplugs, right? The bunk itself and the pod and the pillow and the blankets, wasn't tremendous. I found that Japan had a lot of just really firm pillows everywhere, and for me, I like really soft, kind of like pancake pillows. I know probably not the best, but that's what I like, my preference. So it kind of depends on what your preference is, but I will say that the pod itself, it is okay. The issue I found was there was no real air conditioning, there was no control. You could control like the temperature in there at all. It had ventilation, but it was quite stuffy. Even through the night, it was pretty stuffy, so I didn't have the best of sleep. Now, maybe if I stayed there a few days and I was used to that conditions, it would be definitely a little bit better, but I only stayed the one night, so I can only comment on the one night experience. In terms of the location of the actual capsule itself and the toilet amenities, it isn't the greatest. So for example, I was on the 8th floor, the toilet was on the 2nd floor, and you've got to get a lift down. Now the problem is, if you're busting for the toilet, you've got to wait for that lift to get to the 2nd floor, depending on what floor you're staying on, which will still either be above the 2nd floor. And then they only had 2 toilets in this shared communal area, so again, if you're busting for the toilet and there's 2 people on the toilet, you're gonna be waiting. And especially during the night, if you just need to go to the toilet, it's a bit of an inconvenience to go all the way down 6 floors on an elevator to then go to the toilet, to go back up 6 floors to then get into your pod and go back to sleep. The communal area does get really busy. It also gets really noisy too, just with people trudging through their luggages, and then, you know, conversations going on and all this kind of stuff. I didn't have any issues accessing the shower. I wasn't in a long queue to get into the shower. The shower was actually really clean as well, and it was really spacious too, and it had a lot of area where you could also have a few shelves to put your own personal belongings and change your clothes, all this kind of stuff. So it was quite roomy for that. The wash basin itself as well wasn't too bad, so no kind of real complaints from there. The location itself, I want to throw this in, it does feature a lot of food areas around this area of the capsule where I stayed. They had like a coffee shop nearby, they had a Denny's, which we actually went to for breakfast, but they also do have along the streets just outside of the Capsule Hotel, about a minute walk, again a lot of other stores and also convenience stores. So the location itself is actually really great, really handy. It has a lot around it as well. So overall, the experience, I would say I'm kind of about like 3 stars out of 5. Not exactly amazing, but at the same time not exactly terrible either. Definitely affordable accommodation if you plan to stay in Japan in a capsule hotel. Now, have you been in a capsule hotel? Please leave your comments down below. Let me know if you've had this experience, if you've fancied doing this, if you ever come to Japan, and if you want any recommendations or the direct website itself. I will leave the website link down below in the description box of the one that I stayed in, so you can check prices and accommodation fees for yourself. But thank you so much for checking out this video. I really do appreciate it, and I've got a handful of Japan content coming here onto the channel, so please keep an eye out for that. But if you'd like to see it earlier than when it actually drops on YouTube, well, check out my Patreon. The link for that is also in the description box, where you can get that benefits from only £2 per month. Big thanks to all these awesome legends who help to subscribe to my Patreon and help to support the channel. Now, in the meantime, if you haven't seen these videos of mine, well, hey, click over here, have yourself a bit of a deep dive, and until the next time that I see you guys, I'll be seeing you later.